Hello, everyone. I am Jerome Martin from Light Body Bootcamp, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about intuition versus imagination and how to tell the difference. Before we go any farther, do me a favor and take a moment and like, share, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Um, Without further ado, let's jump in. So, the biggest fear most people have isn't, am I intuitive? It's, what if I'm just making this up? One of the most important skills in psychic development is discernment. Not everything you perceive is intuition. Some of it is memory, imagination, expectation, and projection. Real training isn't about believing everything you sense, it's about learning to tell the difference. Intuition and imagination come from completely different systems. Imagination is created, intuition is received. First, let's talk about how imagination works. Imagination requires effort. It usually includes visualization, mental construction, internal dialogue, active thinking, personal preference. Imagination feels like I am generating this. Next, let's go into intuition. How that works is intuition is effortless. It depends, or it tends to appear as a quiet knowing, a neutral impression, a subtle signal, information without force, perception without trying, where intuition feels like this is arriving, not being built. And a core rule is that if you have to strain to perceive it, it's probably imagination. If it appears calmly on its own, it's likely intuition. Common signs of imagination is it changes when you want it to. It follows your desires. It requires mental effort and it gets louder the more you push. And it feels emotional or dramatic. Common signs of intuition is it arrives uninvited, it feels neutral, it doesn't need convincing, and it doesn't argue. It often is subtle and simple. Another important difference is imagination usually explains itself. Intuition often does not. Intuition gives you information without needing to justify it. So the next is the emotional test. True intuition is emotionally neutral. If a perception is charged with fear, hope, or excitement, that charge is usually coming from the mind, not intuition. And the reason why beginners get confused is early on, imagination is louder than intuition. So people assume loud equals real and quiet equals weak, but it's actually the opposite. Real intuition is quiet because it's stable. So let's do a little practice here. So take a few breaths and find yourself quiet in a quiet space. We're going to try this simple test. Think of a random apple in your mind. I want you to picture it, and then I want you to change its color. So if it's red, change it to green, green, change it to red, spin it around. That's imagination. Now stop trying. Notice what arises on its own without effort. That effortless awareness, that's closer to intuition. The difference is effort versus ease. So this can translate in your daily life. This is when the distinction becomes clear. Decision making improves, overthinking decreases, anxiety drops. You tend to trust yourself more, and you stop chasing experiences. Discernment replaces guessing. So this exact distinction is practiced deeply inside the fundamentals and foundation modules in Light Body Bootcamp. This is where we train to recognize true signal, reduce mental noise, and strengthen subtle perception, and build real intuitive confidence. So you're not hoping, you're knowing. If this video has brought you clarity, continue with the next lesson and keep building the foundation step by step. And remember, discernment is the real superpower. And if you want to come check out the boot camp, there is a 7-day free trial in the description. See you in the next video.